All right, pop quiz time. No warm-up, no multiple attempts, no AI to save you, just you versus the world. Here is your challenge. Are you smarter than a chimpanzee? I'm not being sarcastic. That's the literal benchmark. In a global knowledge test by Gapminder, chimps scored 33% just by picking answers at random. And yet, most people, educated, successful people, Nobel Prizes, scored lower. Why? Because what we think we know is often outdated, dramatic, and dead wrong. So let's put it to the test. I'll ask you 5 real questions from the Gapminder quiz. Grab a pen, your notes app, or just keep count in your head. Ready? Question number 1. In the last 20 years, the proportion of people living in extreme poverty worldwide has A. doubled, B. stayed the same, C. halved. Question 2. How many of the world's 1-year-old children today have been vaccinated against some disease? A. 20%, B. 50%, C. 80%. Question 3. Where do most people live? A. Low-income countries, B. Middle-income countries, C. High-income countries. Question 4. What's the life expectancy of the world population today? A. 50 years, B. 60 years, or C. 70 years. Question 5. How many girls finish primary school worldwide? A. 20%, B. 60%, C. 90%. All right, let me give you the correct answers then. For the first question, the answer was C, halved. For the second question, the answer was C, also 80%. For the third question, it was B, middle-income countries. And for the fourth question, it was C, 70 years. And the last question, the fifth one, was C, 90%. How did you do? Be honest. If you got 4 or 5 right, congratulations. You're either a data nerd like me, or you've been secretly studying Gapminder in your free time. If you scored 2 or 3, well, that's average, not bad. And if you got 0 or 1, don't worry, you're perfectly human. When I first took the Gapminder test, I was convinced I would ace it. I mean, I read the news, I coach leaders, I teach awareness for a living. I got 5 out of 13 from the complete test. That was humbling, so I spent a year answering every test on their site, question by question, just to retrain how I see the world. That's 1,607 questions. Yeah, I know, I have a bit of an OCD problem here. It wasn't about memorizing facts, it was about upgrading my mental software, shifting from instinctive reactions to data-based reasoning. You and I are living in the most informed era in human history, yet we're constantly misinformed. We think the world is worse than it actually is. We assume poverty is rising, violence is exploding, education is collapsing, when most trends are improving. It's like driving with a foggy windshield. You think you're seeing clearly, but what you're really seeing is distortion, old stories, emotional headlines, and gut feeling. And you're steering your life, your leadership, your business based on that fog. So pause for a second and ask yourself, what assumptions might be distorting how I see the world right now? Maybe it's about the economy, maybe it's about people, or even about yourself. Facts won't make you emotionless, they make you effective about your decisions. And if you ever wondered why your brain keeps tricking you into being wrong, then check out my video on the cognitive biases that quietly sabotage our thinking. You like this video so far? Then you know what to do. Also subscribe and put on notifications if you want to receive content like this every week. Check out other YouTube videos from famous YouTube channels in the video description. It's always good to take a look at a topic through multiple lenses. So if the world is actually getting better, why do we feel like it's falling apart? Why do intelligent, educated, well-meaning people like you and me see danger, decline, and despair everywhere? It's not the media, it's not the politicians, it's us. Our brains evolve for survival, not statistics. We talked about this in my video on mental models, how upgrading your thinking changes everything from habits to worldview. Hans Rosling, the creator of the Gapminder test, discovers that we consistently misjudge the state of the world because of 10 powerful instincts, the invisible filters through which we interpret information. Let's look at them, and you tell me if you recognize yourself here. The first one is the gap instinct. We love dividing the world into 2 groups, rich versus poor, good versus bad, us versus them, etc. It's simple, it feels good, and it's usually wrong. Most of humanity actually lives in the middle, not in the extremes. But our brain craves contrast like a toddler craves sugar. The second one is a negativity instinct. Bad news hits harder. A single disaster dominates the headlines while a million quiet improvements go unnoticed by everyone. That's not the media's fault. Well, not entirely. They're feeding what our brain demands, threats. An example is global life expectancy has gone from 30 years to over 70 in just a century. But we rarely celebrate that. We're too busy scrolling past the next crisis. The third one is a straight line instinct. We assume everything moves in a straight line. More people means more poverty. More CO2 means more doom. More AI means job loss. But reality bends, adapts, and surprises. Progress curves, not lines. The fourth one is a fear instinct. Fear hijacks reason. We fear plane crashes, not car accidents. Terrorism, not cholesterol. Evolution rewarded those who overreacted, not those who calmly checked the data first. The fifth is the urgency instinct. Ah yes, one of my favorites. Act now or else. This instinct makes us rush decisions, share misinformation, and sign up for limited time offers for things we didn't need yesterday. The sixth is the size instinct. We tend to judge things by how big or shocking they seem, not how proportionate they are. When we hear that 10,000 people died somewhere, it sounds catastrophic. And it is. But without context, we miss the bigger picture. 10,000 deaths in a small town, this is tragic beyond words. 10,000 in a global pandemic where 20 million people die, well, it's a fraction. Number 7 is a generalization instinct. We love putting labels on things. It's efficient, but lazy. Africa is poor, millennials are entitled, AI is dangerous. These are mental shortcuts that save time and steal truth. Africa has 54 countries, some with booming economies, others struggling. To say Africa is one thing is like calling Europe a single culture. Number 8 is the destiny instinct. This one's sneaky. It's the belief that people, cultures, or countries are destined to stay the way they are. You hear it all the time. That's just how they are. Things will never change. But history says otherwise. Japan went from feudal isolation to tech powerhouse in a century. South Korea from a war zone to innovation hub. Rwanda from genocide to one of Africa's cleanest, safest nations. Number 9 is the single perspective instinct. This is a favorite of experts. We love believing in the one big explanation. Economists blame markets, psychologists blame childhood, environmentalists blame capitalism. Everyone's got a hammer and everything looks like a nail. If all you own is a hammer, even a cupcake looks like a problem. Number 10 is a blame instinct. This is our most comforting instinct. It is the urge to find a villain. Something goes wrong, we point the finger. It's the government, the system, the boss, the spouse, the algorithm. Blame feels good because it gives us closure, but it blocks understanding and progress. When child mortality fell dramatically worldwide, it wasn't thanks to one hero or government. It was countless nurses, midwives, engineers, and parents making small local changes. So these 10 instincts, they are not flaws. They are a survival software. But in our modern world, they can lead us straight into confusion, polarization, and paralysis. The cure isn't cynicism, it's factfulness. The ability to see the world as it really is, not as our instincts make it seem. We live in an age where artificial intelligence can pass the bar exam, write your emails, and compose a symphony. Yet most humans still believe global poverty is rising. So the question is, who's really the intelligent one here? And here is the irony. AI is getting smarter, but humans aren't necessarily getting wiser. We have infinite information, and yet without the discipline of factfulness, we interpret that information emotionally, not logically. AI thinks in data, humanity thinks in drama. And that's dangerous because facts are not just trivia. They are foundation of clear reasoning, leadership, and even empathy. Imagine you're leading a team through a crisis. If you base your decisions on fear, everyone's quitting. Our industry is collapsing. You'll create panic and poor choices. But if you look at facts, turnover is 8%. Engagement has dipped slightly. Clients are shifting expectation. Suddenly, you can act with precision, not paranoia. A coaching question for you. What's one recent decision you made based on emotion that you could revisit through the lens of facts? Let's clear something up. Being factful doesn't mean being emotionless. It means your feelings are anchored in reality. When you act from facts, you don't lose passion, you gain direction. That's where it gets critical in the age of AI. Algorithms feed on what we click, and what we click is often driven by those very instincts: fear, drama, blame, urgency. So the more emotionally reactive we are, the more distorted our digital reality becomes. In other words, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world our instincts click on. It's like feeding candy to your brain. It tastes amazing for a moment, but it rots your reasoning. As an exercise, this week, notice what kind of content grabs your attention online. Is it factual or emotional? Then consciously choose one source that challenges your bias, even if it makes you uncomfortable. That's your brain's gym. Now that we know that we are full of instincts, biases, and a surprising lack of factual awareness, what do we do about it? We upgrade our operating system. Because being human 2.0 or 3.0 doesn't mean having a faster Wi-Fi or smarter AI. It means thinking more clearly about the world and about ourselves. It is not about memorizing data, it's about training your attention to notice reality. I thought how to write your own algorithm in this video. So let's talk about powerful habits you can build. Factfulness habit number 1, question the drama. Whenever you hear a shocking headline or dramatic claim, take one deep breath and ask yourself, is this true? Or is this just triggering my instincts? If you can delay your reaction by even 2, 3, 4 seconds, you'll see how much power that pause gives you. And a coaching question. Where in your life could you replace instant reaction with informed reflection? Factfulness habit number 2, seek the counterpoint. Once a week, deliberately read or watch something that challenges your worldview. Not to agree, but to understand. As an exercise, pick one topic: climate, economy, education, whatever you fancy, and find one credible fact that surprises you. Write it down. Over time, you'll feel your worldview stretch and strengthen. Factfulness habit number 3, measure your own bias. We often think biases are something that other people have. And spoiler alert, you have one. Well, actually, you have multiple ones. I used to think that most people lived in low-income countries until I saw that they were in the middle-income bracket. There's nothing wrong about this. It was just an habitual way of thinking. Factfulness habit number 4, upgrade your input. Your worldview is only as good as your information diet. If you feed your mind junk, you'll think junk. As an exercise, follow one data-based source, like Gapminder or World in Data or World Bank indicators. Let your worldview be built on evidence, not echo chambers. Factfulness habit number 5, stay curious, not certain. Certainty is comforting, but curiosity is liberating. The most intelligent people I've met aren't the ones who know the most facts. They're the ones who keep saying, that's interesting, tell me more. And ask yourself this question: where could curiosity replace judgment in your daily conversations? Factfulness isn't about being right, it's about being real. And when your worldview is grounded in facts, your mind becomes grounded in peace. And this quote from the writer of the book, Hans Rosling: the world can be both bad and better. The only way to think clearly about the future is to base it on facts. So test your instincts, upgrade your thinking, and start leading, not from fear, but from facts. Because that's how we renew ourselves and the world around us. Now that you've upgraded your thinking, it's time to balance it with emotional intelligence, because that's what truly smart humans do. So check this video out next.